Flirties, up for conversation on the show today. Communication in early dating with the host of the Your Relationship Reset page on Instagram and creator of the Secure Dating Playbook. It's relationship coach Erica Turner. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Benjamin. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much for making the time to be on this good old show we call Flirtations.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I am excited as well. You know, the Flirties came through with plenty of questions about communication and early dating, pacing, frequency, texting. What if I'm too much? What if I have too many needs? What if I push someone away? What if we set you up for success here after the show?
That's right. That's what we're here to do.
That is what we're here to do. All right. Up first, I typically ask the question, right? How did you get started in this work, right? Maybe what inspired you, what called you into this. But I want to offer a twist today and ask you about the origin of your Instagram page, your relationship reset, how you came up with that name.
Yeah, the simple term reset, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're all out here doing the same thing over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
expecting to get different results when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
dating and relationships. And sometimes you just need to push that button,
Yeah.
reset, reframe,
Mm-hmm.
redefine,
Mm-hmm.
and reclaim your worth
Yes.
so that you can actually get what you want.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, reset just kind of
It
came
fit.
up. It fit. Yeah.
It fit. And
Mhm.
at the time of recording, almost 250,000 strong over
Yes.
there.
Yes. Thank
Congratulations.
you so much. Yeah, it's been about 3 years of just putting my
Yeah.
heart and soul and my own experiences out there, hoping that
Yeah.
it helps someone. So
Oh my gosh. And it definitely has. It's been helping me as well. Yeah. Not easy at all
mm,
to do what you do.
thank you. Yeah, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, it's awesome when we get to be in, right, the seats we're in on the other side of the screen, whether it's Instagram or here on the podcast or really any social media, it kind of doesn't matter. We get to see things from a little bit of a bigger perspective. I
Mhm,
think
mhm,
like when you're in it, when you're in the dating world, and oftentimes your actions and your behaviors have been fueled by anxiety or
mhm,
insecurities or uncertainties or
mhm,
fears, right? When you're
mhm.
acting out of this place of emotion, it's like it's hard to see what you can't see, right?
Right. You are in tunnel vision for sure.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes. And so the reset is maybe pressing pause or taking a break or continuing to date and
mhm,
reframing, repatterning the
mhm.
ways we date, right? The ways we make connections.
Completely, and I like
Hmm.
this the way you're describing of, like, zooming out your
Yes.
lens so that you can see the full picture without the fear, the anxiety, whatever it is
Yes.
dictating how you
Yes.
date.
Because even though we may have some very great friends, family, coworkers, right? All the things, sometimes our hype people hype us up to keep repeating the same patterns.
Yes, yes. We need to re
or or we're stubborn Libras like me and we don't want to listen.
There you
Uh,
go.
that's a possibility as well. All right. As we get into communication and early dating, it is coming, but I've got a few questions
Okay.
to ask you up first. I wanted to get your perspective on what do you think is happening in dating right now? Maybe some trends or themes you see, because there's a couple I see that I find really interesting. But from your work, what are some things you're noticing out there?
Yeah, one of the biggest complaints clients will say
Mm-hmm.
is the trend of people coming on, and I guess this is probably nothing new,
Mm,
but people coming on really strong in the beginning
mm.
and showing a lot of interest, and
Yeah,
then after 5, 6 weeks or so, we
yeah,
kinda I feel like that's like the 7-year itch in dating is like
yeah.
the 6-week mark,
It really
and
is.
then it just kind of falls off with no, communication around it.
Mm,
And some people in the camp of, well, it's only been 5 or 6 weeks. I don't really owe anyone any explanation.
yeah,
But then the clients that I'm seeing is like, well, I've invested 6 weeks of my time with this person. I thought we were
absolutely.
getting somewhere, and then
Hmm.
nothing.
And then nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it tends to end, and oftentimes the 7-year itch in dating. It's so true. Yeah, that 6 week mark is for some reason, yeah, a pivotal moment. But oftentimes something like that ends in a ghosting. I
Mhm.
feel like I see a lot.
Yes, definitely a
Hmm.
ghosting, no explanation, no closure, and then the question is, do you deserve an answer after
Right.
6 weeks? Do you deserve that, straightforward answer from the person that you're dating?
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
yes.
I would say
Yeah.
100% as well. It's like I wonder what's happening in there if you see this in your client work is is there maybe how much communication
Mhm.
is happening? Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I think in the beginning, there's so much communication happening via text.
Yeah.
And so we have this like 24/7 access to each other. So we're
Yeah.
expecting a lot more in the beginning.
Yeah.
And my guidance is to do less communication via texting,
Mhm.
save that more for the in
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
Um, and it's very interesting to see how much you're able to connect once you're in person
Yeah.
and hopefully be able to, keep your mind just on your life when you're not around the person instead of thinking you can communicate with them because you have this device in your hand, but
Absolutely.
it's not always to our benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see that trend as well. But we're going to give the flirty some strategies communication wise in this early dating process to
Mhm.
see, right? Maybe if someone has the same intentions, the same desires, are they going to stick around post 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
How much do you like them? Of
Yes,
course, that matters too. So you
of
can
course.
see if they're able to even meet some of those wants, desires in the early, yeah, in the early dating process too.
All right.
Yeah. Something I feel like I see, it's so interesting where I hear from daters and from flirties all the time, right? I hate the apps.
Mm.
I'm over the apps. I'm
Mhm.
done. I'm deleting them all.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk to, yes, people dating. And it's like, well, how did you meet? If you're in a relationship, if you're dating, how did you meet? The apps,
Right. Right.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
so, it's so interesting.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like, we get frustrated, we delete them all, and then it's like revolving door and we are back on. But the
Hmm.
burnout is real, the frustration of, "Oh my gosh, again, this didn't work out. Delete, delete,
Yeah.
delete." And it's so funny because it's like we all want connection,
Mhm.
but then when
Mhm.
I'm out and about, I see people, we're all around each other, but we're all looking at our phone.
I know, I see that
And it's
too.
just like, "Oh, just
I'm
look up."
trying, yes, in my flirt mission to, yes, have us lift our heads up, smile,
Yeah.
nod, wave, say hello a time or two,
Yeah.
put the phone down, take the headphones out, just
Yeah.
observe, be curious, ask a question, maybe offer a compliment. Yeah.
Just hold the door open for someone
Oh
and
my
say,
gosh.
"Hey." Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, please.
Mhm.
And I want to acknowledge the daters too that feel like, because I've had this experience where it seems like, well, why is that working for them? Speaking specifically to the apps, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
well, they were able to get the date. They were able to, maybe find the relationship and then it didn't work for me.
Mhm.
So, talking about reset, what's a reset we could offer for the dater that's having that thought?
It's so I wanna make this, like, more general than
Mm
specifics,
hmm. Mm
but, I think it's all about mindset, right? Like, shifting from this scarcity mindset to abundance,
hmm. Mm hmm.
first and foremost, and just because your, like, person hasn't come along yet, it
Mm hmm.
doesn't like, your timeline is not comparable to the other person's timeline.
Yeah.
I really think it's all like, these kind of, like, greater
Mm hmm.
mindset shifts, but then when it comes down to who you're choosing, when you're scrolling,
Mm hmm.
is there, like, a pattern or a theme there?
Mm hmm.
I think there are certain pictures and phrases on a profile that can easily kind of be like the red flag of like, no, let's swipe on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And are you continuing to choose the type of person that you may be attracted to,
Mm hmm.
but also quickly swiping off the people that you automatically assume no, but you're
Yeah.
not even giving these people a chance.
Yeah.
Um, so what's your like selection criteria like, and does that need to be adjusted? I'm curious.
Mm, yeah. Asking the flirties, are you asking me as well?
Yes, the flirties, you,
Yeah, it's you mentioned the scarcity mindset. That's so good because one thing I've had to do is shift out of that because I am still dating as well, in and out. I've at least got one toe in the the dating pool.
Mhm.
Very busy over here at Flirt headquarters, to be honest.
Sure.
But I've had to, like, with that mindset, I can recognize that I'm single and still be happy and show gratitude and appreciation, whatever you want to put in there for the people that it's working for.
Mhm.
Right? Instead
Mhm.
of all of a sudden taking it personally, like, oh my God, it's not working for me. Well, how did they find that person? But
Mhm.
do they even deserve to be in a relationship?
Mhm.
How did this even happen? What's wrong
Mhm.
with me? Kind of thing.
Mhm.
Whoop, we got to get out of that mindset. You know what? Happy for you. Congratulations. Hope it goes well. I'm
Mhm.
going to bring my attention, energy, and focus back to me
Mhm.
and not kind of wallow and sit with these feelings of inadequacy or jealousy, something like that. So that's something that's helped me shift out of a scarcity mindset. And then just also, yeah, being a little bit more selective, which is hard.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to anyone, right? Like pretty
Mm-hmm.
much anyone who
Mm-hmm.
showed any semblance of interest, I
Mm-hmm.
was like all in
Yeah.
without taking the time to really assess, do I
Yeah.
even like them? How do I feel around them?
Yeah.
Do we are we aligned like long term for what
Yeah.
we want?
Mm-hmm.
Um and of course that was all like abandonment wounding and
Yeah.
anxious attachment
Yeah.
style codependency traits coming up that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So really wanting to make sure that you're choosing people from, your worth, not your wounds.
Right. Right. You want to choose people from your worth, not your wounds. That's a that should be one of your taglines if it's not already.
I should, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's good. Okay, so we're getting closer to the communication questions, I promise, but I got two more questions here. And one is there's a big theme that I pick up through your content and talking about the secure dating playbook that you offer, and that is how we can develop that secure attachment within ourselves. I
Mhm,
think that is such an important part of this conversation. And so,
mhm,
before we get into some of the communication questions, what are some things we can do to feel more secure within ourselves while we're
mhm.
dating?
Yeah, and I think once you build that, like, internal security, that's also gonna help with what we were just talking about when it
Hmm.
comes to, like, the comparison game of it all.
Yeah.
When you know that your relationship doesn't define who you are
Mm.
and complete you,
Hmm.
because you feel so secure in yourself, it's
Hmm.
someone else coming along is just an added bonus
Mm. Yeah.
kind of a mindset, but, how do you feel more secure within yourself? I kind of wanna maybe explain it in my way through that secure attachment
Yes.
styles lens, but
Yes, please.
most simply, I like to view it as if you have more of this anxious, insecure attachment style, right?
Hmm.
Myself included.
Hmm.
We grow up not really ever fully coming into ourselves because
Mm.
we're always externally focused on
Mm.
the other person from, infancy, toddlerhood.
Mm.
You are conditioned to look outside of yourself
Mm.
for safety, security. Is mom, dad, whoever, caregiver, are
Hmm.
they there for me? Are they going to take care of me?
Hmm.
Because that security wasn't guaranteed.
Mm.
Maybe
Okay.
they were distracted, or maybe there was, some degree of emotional abandonment, whatever.
Hmm.
But the point is, you didn't get to really know who you are. You didn't get
Mm.
to know what your needs are, what your preferences are, how to manage your emotions, what your boundaries are,
Hmm.
right? So, when you're disconnected from all these parts of yourself, of course, when you enter the dating world, you don't feel very secure within yourself because it's
Mm.
like, I can't even manage my emotions. How am I going to feel secure when someone ghosts me or walks away? I don't even have the skills to, set my boundaries, or I don't even know what I need.
Right.
I remember the first time I saw this, like, long list of relationship needs,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
I had no idea that all of these things were needs." So
Yeah.
how would I be able to advocate for those things
Yeah.
from the person that I'm seeing?
Hmm.
So, didn't feel very secure within myself.
Right.
So that's where I would begin. What are these core parts of you? Because the more
Hmm.
you know yourself, the more secure you're gonna
Mm.
feel within yourself. And then you're
Hmm.
gonna be less dependent on this other person to
Hmm.
feel whatever it is that you wanna feel,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to give that to yourself. And that's kind of
Mm.
what creates this foundation of security within you.
Okay. Okay. That's really helpful. And I would probably, it seems like you could go through this journey of self discovery at different stages or ages, depending on where you're at. I sometimes will work with flirties that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s,
Mhm,
and they're going through this now
mhm,
and maybe comparing themselves to, people that are younger. I'm like, wait, we all have our own journeys, right? We're
mhm,
all entering the dating world at different times. Maybe we've been in long-term relationships, or we've had different situations with work or family, and we didn't really date for maybe a
mhm,
long time, and now
mhm.
we are. And some of this is a little bit of trial and error too. You might discover some of your needs while you're dating. What's important? What do you like? What do you don't like? And that's okay. That's
Yes,
okay.
I completely agree. The needs you have in your 30s may be very different than the needs you have
Yeah.
in your 50s. And
Yeah.
I also agree with you there on, we can get to a certain level of readiness when it comes
Mm.
to dating,
Mhm.
before we start dating. And then
Mhm.
once you start dating, you're still discovering certain things about yourself. And like you
Yeah.
said, oh, maybe I'm realizing I have this need that I didn't realize I had when I
Yeah.
was not dating.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think there's ever an end to
No.
this self discovery journey.
Mm-mm. But how beautiful it is.
I love it.
I
Yeah,
like
it's life.
it reaches a point, honestly. I feel like I'm in the fun stage of it finally,
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
work, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, with this new level of just awareness of ourselves. I mean,
Mhm.
when I was in my 20s, it was.
Oh god. You couldn't pay me enough to go back there,
No, thank
honestly.
you.
Mm-mm. I'm gonna take a pass on that, Erica. No, thank you.
We'll stay right here.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Um, okay, getting ever closer to communication. I wanted to ask you this question here because I had a conversation recently with a friend who is just starting to listen to Flirtations. They're starting to check out my content a little bit. Yeah, they're like, what is binge? I know this one version of Benjamin at the store, or maybe as a yoga teacher,
Mhm,
but what is this other thing he does? What is this? I
mhm,
Yes, wear many hats sometimes.
mhm,
And he took a attachment styles quiz
mhm,
and found out that he was leaned more anxious.
mhm,
And he felt like, what I got from that conversation is, he felt like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, or there's
mhm,
something that I have to fix.
mhm, mhm,
Right.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
so for the flirty that's maybe having that thought, or is in a part of their dating journey where they feel like something's wrong with them, or there's
Mhm,
something they need to fix,
mhm.
how can we reset that that thought?
Yes, yes. Well, as someone who's also, anxiously attached and
Hmm.
working on my own, path to secure, if you have an anxious attachment style, you learned this.
Mm,
You learned uh, to relate this way, and this is not your
mm,
fault.
mm,
This was, I mean, attachment styles, not to get like too clinical, are
hmm,
simply maladaptive ways of relating
mm.
that we learn from our parent child relationship.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if you don't feel safe and secure with the person who's responsible for taking care of you,
Hmm.
you're going to start to feel anxious, right?
Mm,
Anxiousness is a human response to uncertainty.
mm, yeah,
So that anxiety then leads you to develop all the hypervigilance, and when you're checking your phone all the time and you're scrolling on social media, what are they
yeah,
doing, what are they thinking of me, where are they, when are they going to call me, right?
yeah.
All of this like obsessive thought, and rumination and wondering, and just it's all your anxiety because your
Hmm.
nervous system doesn't feel safe. And
Hmm.
again, this isn't your fault.
Hmm.
um, all your job is now is to help your body nervous system see that you are in fact safe and that
Mm.
you are here to take care of you, instead of
Yes.
outsourcing this need for security onto the other person.
Okay.
Oh, when they call me, I'll feel calm.
Yeah.
No, you can give yourself calm. You
Hmm.
can tell your body that you're safe,
Hmm.
and then what they do or don't do isn't going to rattle you as much.
Right. Right. Okay. Really, really good. And I have a similar experience where, I mean, I'm on the other side of the coin, I think, as more avoidant. I've
Mm,
definitely presented anxious in some relationships. I can think of one in particular. Oh God. That was something else. Flashbacks, but predominantly more avoidant, because talking about that nervous system patterning, those core beliefs that we have about ourselves, mine
mhm,
is, why would anybody like me?
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
Why would
mhm,
I ever be good enough for somebody?
mhm,
So let me go ahead and pull away. Let me be hard to get. Let me be hard to love.
mhm,
And here comes, right, that cycle of, well, of course, my actions are then going to lead to that exact result because it doesn't
mhm,
look like I like anybody.
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
and you don't want to be, I mean, of course, the avoidant, just like the anxious, we both want connection.
Right, right.
But if you present with those behaviors, it doesn't look like you're interested. And so then the other person, of course, probably is, or well, unless they're more anxious, and then we get into the avoidant anxious, right, dynamic, right, which plays
Right,
out in dating all the time.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's anyway,
No,
communication.
yeah, I love just that, like, we don't wanna, like, villainize any attachment style,
No.
right? Like,
Mm-mm.
I feel like avoidance get a bad rap, and
They do.
it's like it's just another protective strategy, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully for the anxious, they, as myself included, we can stop personalizing the behavior of the avoidant and just see
Mm-hmm.
it as their way of trying to feel safe.
Yeah.
And great segue into communication. If both of you are, willing and able enough to communicate
Yeah.
about your fears and anxieties and worries, then there can be a path forward together.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it can absolutely work between the anxious and avoidant. Of
Yes.
course, right? We all bring our stories, our histories, our experiences, our entire lived lives into the dating process and into our relationship. So there's going to be a natural kind of balancing of wants and needs,
Yes.
right? Priorities, compromise, and communication is going to help get us there.
Yes, we need it.
Oh
We
my
need it.
god. Where to begin with communication?
Mhm.
What maybe are some general guidelines, if you
Mhm.
have any, around communication that the flirties should be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, communication is certainly gonna require your vulnerability, right?
Mm,
Because it's gonna require you to say that thing that you haven't been wanting to say or express that need, express
yeah,
that feeling.
yeah.
But intimacy cannot exist without communication.
Mm,
So I know the flirties want intimacy, right? We
hmm.
want physical,
Yeah,
emotional intimacy, and your communication is literally the pathway to getting there.
yeah.
And if someone has a negative response to your communication, to you being expressive, let's start to just take that response as the information you need to help
Hmm.
you make a decision. Is this
Hmm.
person aligning with what I want in a partner? Or
Yeah,
is this a sign to just kind of keep it moving?
right. Right. And something I pick up from your content is how we can develop compatibility in
Hmm.
our connections and dating. I think the intimacy and the vulnerability, two really important attributes of a relationship, and also compatibility. It goes beyond just liking someone or even liking how we feel around them, but are we actually compatible? Are we aligned
Right.
around our values, right? Lifestyles.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, the compatibility piece is huge, especially if you're coming from more of this anxious place
Mm,
or whatever your attachment style is.
yeah.
You may be choosing partners who are just more subconsciously
Mm,
familiar as
yeah.
opposed to choosing partners that are actually compatible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some qualities of compatibility, or how might you describe that a little bit?
I would encourage anyone to just look at a list
Okay.
of just relationship needs, human needs, and once you have just some semblance of understanding of what are my needs in a relationship,
Hmm.
then you can start assessing through just organic, interaction and behavior.
Hmm.
Are we compatible? Do we like the same thing? Are we both night owls? Do we both want to get that nightcap after dinner? Or would we both
Mm,
rather go home
hmm.
and binge on Netflix after dinner and
Hmm.
be in bed by 10? You know?
Yeah. Hmm. That'd be me plus 2 hours of doom scrolling on TikTok
Right.
or
Right,
Instagram.
right. But yeah, there is no right or wrong when it comes to your preferences and your values.
Yes.
I think it's really important to not let someone else's um, behavior or desires define yours.
Mm,
You have to
okay.
stand firm in who you are, and
Mm,
this is how we don't get lost in our relationships, right? When
yes.
we stay connected to ourselves.
Mm. That's so good because I've had that experience dating, and I know the flirties have too. At least, probably at least a few of them, of judging our needs, our wants, desires, feeling like they're too much, or you get in there and maybe you really like someone, or they're giving you a lot of attention, or maybe you've entered the physical intimacy realm and that's really good. They're really hot. There's some chemistry there. And
Mhm.
then you start overlooking, well, maybe that thing isn't so important.
Mm,
Or, oh, they're really inconsistent in this area. Or, they said that thing, but I can overlook that kind of thing.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We overlook those red flags, we minimize the
Yep.
behavior that we don't wanna see, and we create this reality, um, that is only what we want to see instead of accepting what is. And when you catch yourself doing that, falling into the
Yeah.
fantasy, pull yourself
Pull
back,
yourself back.
pull yourself back.
I
Let
think
that be
that,
the light bulb moment to say, "Wait."
yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that ties into how we can have those more secure attachments with ourselves too.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Builds that
Right,
self trust, confidence,
right.
clarity. Yeah.
Right, yeah, because if we're
Really
not being
important.
honest with ourselves, how can we trust ourselves?
Ah,
Mhm,
yeah, that's true. And also, it's like if you don't know what you want, or at least what's important to you, some of
mhm,
those qualities you're looking for in a person, some of
mhm,
those qualities that you like to see in yourself when you're with somebody,
mhm.
that's important too, right? The people you date are going to decide for you.
Yes.
And then you stand to be very lost.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one other thing I wanna say about compatibility is
Mm.
people always ask me, "What should I say? What question should I ask?" You
Mm.
know? And I would encourage you, there really is no perfect question to ask.
Yeah.
Their behavior, especially when we're talking about, in today,
Hmm.
about the very early phase of dating,
Hmm.
they're gonna show you through their behavior
Yeah.
whether or not y'all are compatible, and it's more important to be asking yourself certain questions,
Yeah.
right? How do I feel around them? Those sorts of things. It's really, assessing compatibility can really just be something you do
Hmm.
in your own time when you're just
Yeah.
reflecting on the date or the relationship.
Yeah. Hmm.
So don't
Absolutely.
overthink don't overthink all these perfect questions, ask them. Just observe their behavior.
Yeah, there's a lot of posts. I see a lot of content about that. And if you want to put right a few in your back pocket kind of thing, if there's an awkward silence, which is all good in and of itself,
Uh-huh.
or yeah, it can be helpful to have, have a question or two or three, but also, yeah, it's don't forget to those ask yourself those questions too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm. All right. How about some texting, Erica? What do you
Gosh.
is there such thing? I mean, we're really focusing on the early dating process. I like to say as a flirt coach, I focus on the flirt up
Mhm,
until you're defining the relationship. You're now, right? There's a label, there's an
mhm,
official status, something like that. You've defined the partnership. So
mhm.
in this phase between the flirt and DTR, how
Oh,
much texting are we talking about?
Ooh, I'm maybe, like, old school and that I wanna do less texting and I
Hmm.
want more communication to be happening, in person, but even
Hmm.
just say in the beginning, right, when we've matched with someone and
Yeah.
we haven't even maybe we've gone on 1 date.
Hmm.
Then what do we do between that first date and the second date?
Hmm.
you know, Again, how do you want the person to be communicating with you in between the date? What would
Hmm.
your ideal preference be?
Hmm.
And are you also modeling that? Right? If
Mm.
you if you expect somebody to be texting you back
Okay.
within a timely manner, right?
Okay.
Are you doing the same?
Hmm.
Or are you playing coy and, look at the phone, see their text, and then you put your phone down and say, "Oh, I'm going to wait an hour." So that it
Mm.
seems like I'm busy and,
Yeah.
that they're not that important to me.
Yeah.
So those are 2 things I would consider. What about you? What do you typically tell, your audience?
Yeah, those
Mhm,
are good points, good guidelines. And I feel like my stance on this has changed as I've gotten older a little bit too, where I'm going to be 40 this year. And definitely in my teens, 20s, 30s, I felt like I wanted to text a lot, right? I
mhm,
needed those notifications to be popping off. I needed to know that whoever I was dating, whoever I was crushing on, thinking about was also crushing on, thinking about me. And
mhm,
ultimately, I had to make this mindset shift of, if something has not worked for me in the past, let me see if I can revisit that, reset it, change it.
mhm,
And is my desire for communication really being fueled by insecurity, by
mhm,
anxiety?
mhm.
by wanting to kind of always be in this person's life, right? What if they forget about me, right? They're
Mhm.
so busy. What if they're cheating? What if they're talking
Mhm.
to somebody else, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So many of my texting behaviors were fueled by anxiety,
Mhm.
by insecurity, and by these feelings of unworthiness. And
Mhm.
you get caught in this trap, right? In this cycle of you get that text back or whatever, and for a second you're satiated. For a
Right.
second, your nervous system
Right.
resets in a sense, and then you're right back in it. It was a crazy tough pattern to break.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like I was able to do that. And so now I certainly prioritize communication and dating. You got to.
Mhm.
But what I'm not going to be doing is texting all day.
Mhm.
And between those first and second dates, honestly, if we have, let's say, a first date on a Friday and a second date is the following Friday, no, we're not talking every day.
No.
I'm not texting with you every day. And
No.
every other day, kind of check in, opt for a phone call, a FaceTime, even something like that. Maybe I share a song or a meme or a reel, a video, something like that, perhaps if we're linked
Mhm.
on social media already. But
Mhm.
otherwise, like I don't want the flirties to come from this mindset of lack or scarcity,
Yeah.
and more so think about your communication as a tool to build that connection, to
Yes.
build that compatibility, to
Right.
also build that secure attachment within yourself.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
instead of using the communication as the
Yes.
satiation that you were
Yeah.
describing. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Mhm,
Yeah. I feel like that's a lot of, yeah, a lot of daters had that experience, whether you're anxious, avoidant, or somewhere
mhm,
in between. It's like you don't want to lose this person, even if it's only been one date, or
right,
maybe you haven't even met yet. You're still on the apps, let's say,
right.
and you're starting to hit it off, right? It's really fun. It's new. You got
Mhm,
some of those butterflies going.
mhm,
And I
yeah,
understand wanting to keep those feelings going because it feels good.
right,
But what are we doing here? Are we building connections? Are we building relationships? Or are we chasing a feeling?
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
and I dated for years so unaware of what you're
Yeah.
describing. I
Me
was just,
too.
like, on autopilot.
Me too.
And so just to be able to be aware of why am I texting? Why am I wanting to text? What am I seeking? What need am I wanting this person to fulfill?
Yeah.
It just completely changes everything for you because now you're aware and you can say, okay, I'm not going to text them to get that reassurance.
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
just go for a walk. I'm just going to
Yeah.
get out, put my phone down,
Yeah.
and I don't need the reassurance. I can be here for myself. I don't need them to make me feel safe. I can make me feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Erica, that is it exactly. Along with this, what do you think about social media? I think that's a part of communication, right? Are we following sooner rather than later if we're on social media? Yeah, what are what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my grandmother, I just learned that people are when they're out, instead of saying, "What's your phone number?" It's, "What's your Instagram?"
Give me that Instagram.
I I mean, is it rude to say, "Can I just give you my number instead?"
No,
Because, like,
no.
you're opening up this world for the person to see your entire past decade of life,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna start making judgments and
Mm-hmm.
assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even know you.
Right.
So, is it really that helpful to be sharing your social media right off the bat? What do you think?
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah,
Definitely in like my 20s and my teens, Instagram wasn't a thing. So dating myself a little bit.
same.
Nope, wasn't around yet, but certainly in my 20s it did. Yes, it existed. But what I will do, what you offered, and I'll be like, hey, could I offer you my phone number instead, or could we exchange numbers?
Mhm,
Because I'm like, I'm not dating for follows.
mhm,
I don't need to be going back and forth, and then all of a sudden you can see if someone is active, right? If you're
mhm,
doing Snap, is their Snap score going up? Or, oh, they just posted to their stories. Or then you get into this thing of chasing validation a little bit, right? You
mhm,
do the thirst trap or the thing to
mhm.
your story, and like, oh,
Totally.
is my crush going to look at it? Are they going to
Mhm,
see it? Are they going to react? And then
mhm.
you build up so much expectation, so much fantasy in your head, and there's an element of that that can be fun if you're really secure within yourself. But if you find it leaves you more often than not feeling anxious, feeling insecure, feeling unworthy, or just feeling bad about yourself,
Right,
like
right.
just do just do the number.
Right, right. Just to the
Yeah.
number and, you know, Then the other problem with the social media, right, is we'll see, "Oh, they saw my story." And then
Yes.
we create this story in our head of what that means that they saw your story. Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't even, like it, but they
Hmm.
just saw it, and we think, "Oh, they must really like me."
Yeah.
It takes 0 effort to just be scrolling through your stories.
Yeah.
Let's not give them a gold star
Right.
because they looked at your story.
Right.
That literally should mean nothing.
I know. And
Let's
then we
let's
get
not.
into orbiting. I did an article. Was this my article on Fortune? Fortune online. Yes, I think about orbiting where, if someone ghosted you or you had a couple dates or you matched on an app and then migrated over to the socials but perhaps never met. And
Mhm,
then it's like, "Oh, well, so and so watched my stories or so and so I can see they liked my video or my post. Does
mhm,
that mean they like me?"
mhm.
I Why are we trying to evaluate someone's social media behavior? I just
Right,
Yeah, we gotta get out of that.
right, and
Mhm.
creating meaning to it. It's like, let's
Yeah.
not.
Also, I am not trying to open that can of worms when someone asks for my Instagram that maybe is like, we're looking to go on a date. I'm like, "Oop, I don't need you finding out that much
Right, right off the bat.
about me."
Yeah, yeah. I wanna be the
You
one to
know?
tell you that instead of you just
Yeah,
seeing it. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. All right. Let's get into some how to have actual conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say for the flirty that's dating, and maybe there's a mismatch of communication preferences,
Mhm.
right? I think we oftentimes see this in dating where you want a little bit more communication, not a ton. We're working on that secure attachment. So it's just important to you because you're looking to build that connection. You want some
Mhm,
consistency. And I
mhm,
completely understand that.
mhm.
And you're dating someone, let's say you're 4 dates in or even 3 dates in, and they're just, eh,
They're not giving.
you're going on dates, but there's a lot to be desired.
Yeah,
Hmm.
in between the dating too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, 3 or 4 dates in, we're maybe let's just say it's been a month,
Yeah. Hmm.
and we're putting our efforts in here,
Hmm.
and you're wanting, communication, and you're acknowledging that it's not stemming from this, like, anxious or insecure place, like you
Yeah.
said, it's coming
Yep.
from this, like, genuine desire to build
Hmm.
a relationship and build intimacy.
Hmm.
This is where that vulnerability piece comes in to say
Yeah.
my, like, go-to is always to just communicate what you've been noticing,
Okay.
right? Be as objective as you can about, like, specific, um, behaviors,
Hmm.
communication patterns that you've noticed, and say what you'd prefer instead, or
Okay.
say, "It left me confused," right? Include, like, a feeling in
Mm.
there
Okay.
instead of, naming, blaming, because that's just gonna lead to defensiveness, right? And then see what their response is.
Mm.
Are they are they immediately like, "Oh my gosh, I hate that I made you feel that way. I don't want you to think that I'm not interested.
Hmm.
Like, something crazy happened, blah, blah, blah."
Hmm.
Or do they get defensive or annoyed or irritated that you
Hmm.
even brought it up?
Hmm.
Their behavior is gonna tell you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's using those I statements.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
think oftentimes, if we're in this situation, it's like, you don't text enough, or you don't talk enough, or you don't communicate enough. And then, of course, you if you place that question upon someone, I think it's reasonable to get defensive.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause you feel like, where is this coming from?
Right.
Hmm.
The words you use, the approach, right?
Hmm.
The I statement is so essential to helping that person not get defensive and potentially help hopefully lean in
Yeah.
and, give an explanation. And then it's on you to say, okay, does that check out? Do I buy that? Or is this not worth my time?
Yeah.
But at least give the person the opportunity instead of just assuming, oh,
Assuming.
they're not interested, or
Yeah.
oh, they're a jerk, whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this one it gets a little tricky because we have to generalize somewhat for for an example like this. Like let's say you've been on 4 dates dating for a month and you are going on a date a week, very classic timeline,
Mm,
and there's zero communication in between. Well,
mm,
that's I feel a different maybe
yeah.
a different question. But if there is communication happening, some of those check-ins like, "Hey, how's your day going?" kind of thing, but there's just a lot to be desired, but you feel like the connection is growing, it's
Mhm,
there, right? There's intention, there's some chemistry,
mhm,
compatibility, all that good stuff. It's like, "Hey, I value more consistent communication when
Mhm.
I'm dating. It really helps me get to know someone.
Mhm.
What do you think? How do you feel
Exactly.
about that? What are your
Exactly.
preferences? What do you value?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love those open-ended questions, to just give the person the chance to just respond
Yeah.
and share their truth.
Yeah. And this is where I don't think it's gameplay exactly, Erica, but you want to be open-ended in your questions so that they can fill in the blank.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right. That
Mhm.
way you're not putting any, like, story or meaning to it, and, yeah, you're leaving it wide open for them to fill in those blanks. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I didn't say is I need to text 3 times a day every day in
Mhm.
between our dates. No, I value consistent communication. I gave my why,
Mhm.
what works for you,
Right, yeah.
right?
What
And
you
then you can see where's that compatibility, or
Right.
is there compatibility there? And then the follow up to that is, of course, we're looking for implementation, right? We're looking for
Right.
accountability. We're looking for that growth.
Right, and your person is not gonna want to lose you. They're gonna be
Nope.
like, "Oh my gosh, I
Nope.
I had no idea it was coming across that way."
Hmm.
And if you're dealing with someone who's right-leaning, more avoidant,
Hmm.
then they're gonna be pushed to potentially, like, get out of their comfort zone
Hmm.
and do their own inner work, right? To
Hmm.
be like, "Oh, I don't wanna lose this person, I don't wanna let my own stuff get in the way, like, I'm gonna lean into even if it feels uncomfortable." But you can't force that person who's leaning out to want to do that. They've
No.
gotta get there on their own.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like something I've had to learn. I feel like really I've learned doing this is you having those conversations, you being vulnerable. That is you saying, I value this connection, right? I value
Exactly.
you. I
Exactly.
value seeing where this can go. That's not
Mm.
about you trying to push someone away,
Right.
right? And so if someone's response is to lean out, that's we've got to acknowledge that.
That's the information.
That's the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm. Because I got some questions here. I'm looking at the questions submitted. Texting, 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 texting. Social media, social media. I think we've talked about that. And then this one, feeling like, yeah, just they've been too much at times, right?
Mhm.
Whether that's something a part of their own internal thought process, their internal monologue, or if someone has explicitly stated that to them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope we've reset that thought a little bit.
Yeah, the too much, the too
Hmm.
much. It's like I guess the first thing I just wanna say is that you're not too much. It's just that perhaps you've been operating from a place of, um, lack,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
within.
Mhm.
If you're entering I love the analogy, right? If you come to a restaurant
Mhm.
and you've been in the desert for 10 days,
Mm.
does that mean you're super needy
Yeah.
because you're hungry at the restaurant
Yeah.
and you're, like, eating everything in sight versus
Mhm.
somebody who just came from their house?
Mhm.
Because they're not in need, the way that the person from the desert is in need. So if you're entering the relationship from, your cup is empty,
Right.
you're gonna be more in need. You're gonna want all the texting, right? Which is
Yeah.
why we have to make sure that we're entering dating, like, at least with our cup half full.
Yeah.
Our relationship needs half full met in, like, other areas,
Yeah.
so that we're not completely dependent on this one person, this one source for all of
Right.
our needs, because that's
Right.
just gonna push anyone away.
Yeah, and
And you're like,
that's
"Whoa, this is a lot."
absolutely, and that's not fair to anyone
No.
that we barely know that may still be somewhat of a stranger to become, right, the source of our
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 willingness, our
yeah.
happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, not fair to them or you.
Mhm.
Let's ask this question. Uh, this flirty says, "What about the dater that seems to have a lot of excuses?"
Mm.
Right?
I mean, maybe this is too simplistic, but I just see that as more information,
Okay.
Like, if they have a lot of excuses, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Just, "Okay, you're busy,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have time to prioritize me,"
Mm-hmm.
or you say you're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and then you don't because
Mm-hmm.
all of these other things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, I it's just not working for me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a difference between communicating with someone that can at least come to that midpoint with you versus the
Mhm.
person that is always having an excuse, canceling, rescheduling, oh, I'm busy, whatever's going on. It's like ultimately we can't chase someone,
Right.
and why are we chasing anyone anyway? But we can't
Right.
chase someone that doesn't want to be caught.
Right, right. We're
Yeah,
done with the breadcrumbs. We're done.
done.
Yeah.
Done with that. Okay. Good stuff. Let's do this one. We did the example of maybe you or someone you're dating, there's a difference in communication preferences where one person wants more than the other. But how about the inverse where there's a lot? Maybe the person you're dating is like blowing up your phone nonstop and you're
Mhm.
like, oop, this is
Mhm.
a little this is a little much for me on the communication side so early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd been in a couple dynamics like that, and, looking back on it now, they were just even more, in the boat that I was in of, like,
mm,
needing the relationship
mm,
to feel however they wanted to feel, and they were just
mm-hmm,
projecting all of this
mm-hmm,
onto the relationship, onto me. So if we're falling into the camp of, like, love bomby stuff and just
mm,
I remember just coming to the thought of, why does this person who doesn't even know me wanna spend all their time with me?
mm,
You know, that's kind of weird.
mm-hmm.
We just met. Don't you have, like, your own, like, thing going on? Like,
Right.
and then I had to realize that I had been that one, that
Yes.
I had been that role in so many dynamics, and it
Yes.
just again highlighted just the healing that I needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
and you can come back to those I statements. They're going to be so
Mhm.
good. Like use whatever language or words feel good for you here. I might say something like, "I love you're so excited."
Right.
Right? I love spending time with you. I love going on dates, but I value I prefer to take things a little bit more slowly because in the past I have attached very quickly and I'm working on that. Would
Mhm.
it be
Yeah.
okay if we slow things down?
Yes,
And
and I
then yeah,
oh, no, please go ahead.
oh, and then I was gonna right then we leave it a little bit more open ended again. How do you feel about that? And then you
Right.
come to some kind of agreement, some understanding about what quote unquote slowing down looks like. You're still being intentional,
Yeah.
right? We're not gonna fall into the situationship phase or something like that.
Mhm.
But yes, coming into some understanding about what does slowing things down look like.
Mhm, and that
Mhm.
conversation, those questions, that I statement is literally you setting your pace,
Yes.
And I used to, and I'm sure, some other flirties have probably done the
Hmm.
same thing of, like, you, f just fall in line with the other person's pace. Like, if they're going all in,
Yes.
then you start going all in. I used to do the same
Yes.
thing, and
Yes.
it's like, "No, no, no." Even when they're, like, going 100, it's like,
Hmm.
you now have the wherewithal to say, "No, that doesn't work for
Hmm.
me."
Yeah.
I'm strangely the one pulling back for the first time to
Mm.
say, "No, we gotta set a different pace here."
Yeah, because you've got that secure attachment, that secure relationship connection with yourself, and
Mhm.
you're not coming from this place of what if I lose somebody,
Right.
right? What if I lose them? But more so, I don't want to lose myself in this process.
Right. Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's
I love
important
that.
too. All right, we're gonna come full circle. I think just one more question. This has gone by so quickly as we
Yes.
were talking a little bit about ghosting at the beginning, that
Mm,
7 year itch of the early dating process. As I Yes, I think we've set up the flirties with some communication strategies, some things to look for in
mhm,
dating, the relationship they have with themselves, coming out of that scarcity mindset. But
mhm,
is there maybe something we can look for that we haven't talked about yet to
mm.
know if eh, are we with someone that's going to pull right the rug out from under us?
Yeah. I'm such a believer in actions aligning with words.
Mm-hmm.
How much is somebody just saying all the right things, but then you're seeing no action, no
Mm.
change,
Yeah.
um, and then you're just left feeling like you're just waiting and waiting and waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and asking yourself, what is does this feel good? Like, do I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm waiting,
Mm-hmm.
or do I feel like we're moving along in the same path
Mm-hmm.
together and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be here still?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it just feel like your body is just going to give you so much information if you
Yeah.
just, take the time to just tune in to, what
Mm-hmm.
your body is telling you, what
Mm-hmm.
emotions are coming up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And just
how
have
much
so much, yeah, that's great. And to have that compassion, that patience with yourself, because I feel like that 5, 6 week mark, if someone is more or less masking or presenting a certain version of themselves, that's about the time it starts to wear off, and they
Mhm,
realize now they've got to go that level deeper. They've got to be more vulnerable, right? They've got to take things to that next level. It's reasonable that at that point, if you're dating because you want a relationship, where are we going? What are we doing? And then whoop, that's when they, yeah, do just pull the ghosting. But so sometimes it's not 100% of the time you're going to see it coming, but more often than not, if you're doing that thing you offered of just matching their pace,
mhm,
their
mhm,
actions, their wants and needs,
mhm,
if you're not coming forward with some of those I statements when you have something you want to express, something on your mind, good or bad, right?
mhm.
Ultimately, bring this into the dating process sooner rather than later. And the people that are going to be able to go on that journey with you are going to stick around or not.
Yes, yes, you won't get the rug pulled out from under you if you kind of just maintain that, like, observation mode
Yeah.
for the first 6 weeks. Don't emotionally invest too soon
Mm,
in those first 6 weeks. Just observe and assess what's going on
yeah.
and focus on their actions, not just their words.
Yeah.
And that's how you then trust yourself. I'm
Yes.
trusting myself to assess, observe, not invest too soon, because like you said, we don't know what people are gonna do. We can't trust
Hmm.
what they're gonna do, but we can learn to trust ourselves, to take
Yes.
care of ourselves.
Yeah. Mm.
I love it.
That is so true. We are at time. I want to say
Flew
this has gone right.
by.
Just small talk here on this day. Just some communication and dating. No big deal. No big deal at all. Big deal. Thank you so much for being on Flirtations and having this conversation with me and the Flirties. I want to send them all your way to your Instagram to get the secure dating playbook. Perhaps work with you if you're accepting clients. Where can they find you and follow you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at your.relationship.reset.
Okay.
I'm actually launching a 2-day masterclass today. It's called
Congratulations.
Your Dating Reset, and
Amazing.
we're going to dive all the way into all the topics we've covered today.
Okay.
More info can be found about that on my Instagram, and yeah, I'm just I could talk about this all day, so
Yeah.
I'm so glad we did this.
Me too. Me too. I'll have some links in the show notes below for this episode, and I'll send the Flirties your way. Erica Turner, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Benjamin.